Good day, everyone. This is John Scarborough. We've got a very hot afternoon here. Got the ducks, and we just turned the little ducklings in with the ducks. We've had the ducklings for a little while. We brooded them, and then we moved them into this. We just finally sold off the meat birds. Well, sold them off. I say we actually have them available to sell, but we have them in the freezer now. So if anybody's interested, y'all can go check that out. Those are available. They're pasture-raised broilers. But anyway, so those are out of there. So we freed that up. So we put the little ducklings in there for just a little bit. I think maybe a week or so. And they were enjoying that. We let them get a little bit bigger. And now we've turned them loose into here. They're starting to feather out now. They are just absolutely loving that water. But we turned them out in there with the big ducks, and they're just going after the crickets. We just moved this over here. We got some corn that we planted too late, and then we kind of let the grass get away from us, so it's not really doing the best. It's okay, but anyway, I just figured it'd be a good place to make a little experiment. You know, we just had some corn seed. We wanted to try growing a little bit, but honestly, we put it in too late, and we really shouldn't have. So I wanted to try putting the ducks in here and just see what happens. Like, will they clean up around it? Will they hurt the corn? Will they not? You know, how are they going to be? I know sometimes ducks can be really good in gardens, but it depends on what your plants are. I know if you've got tender young plants, you definitely don't want them to do that because they will eat that. But I'll be curious to see what they do with this corn and also how they affect these larger weeds. I'm going to turn back around here. I'm going to show y'all where they were. And you can tell the really woody weeds, they just don't go after at all. It's just too big. But all of the younger grasses, the smaller stuff, they've gotten, you know, they've eaten up. Now, we're pushing them a little bit harder too. We're leaving them here longer than we normally would have because we're planning on doing a garden bed in here next year. And we talked about that. We got a couple other videos on that. So after they take the grass down, then we'll start to feed them all of our microgreen leftovers, let that compost into the ground and rot away. And then we also put a lot of, I'm losing my chain of thought here. Put a lot of coffee grounds on there as well. And so all of that goes into the soil. And this is kind of the progression backwards. You can see where they were before. This is starting to come back in. And then if I come back one more, this is already turned all the way back into grass right in here. And it's doing pretty good. But you know that we're wanting these to be no-till beds. So we're keeping it nicely mowed down. And then we're going to let these, we're probably going to mow over all of this and then recover it all with some mulch. So we'll let y'all see how that's going to be. And then we'll probably put the chickens and ducks back together. Right now I wanted to separate the chickens away from the ducks. I figured while that's freed up, we'll put the chickens in there. And we wanted to separate them because chickens, you don't want them in there. The chickens would have absolutely eaten all the corn. They would have scratched all the roots up. So we know for a fact the chickens are not going to be good in there. Sometimes ducks is like it's hit and miss with everything, with every type of plant. Some plants, they're not going to do well at all. With them, they'll be more harm than good. And then some plants, they'll be really good. So you really got to just play with it and see what you like. We considered putting them in with the basil, but we really didn't want to try that. The basil's starting to look really good and wanted to, I mean, you can see they were eating that plant right there. You know, so they will eat plants for sure. I think it's like 30 to 40% of their diet can come from plants. I know geese is a good 40%. I'm not exactly sure on the number for the ducks. But anyway, be exciting to see how it works out. So they sure are growing. It's funny to see their feathers start to come out on them. It ain't gonna be long now. They'll be as big as them big ones. These big ones turned out to be really old. The ones that I got them from, they were older, so they just aren't laying any eggs or anything. They are absolutely loving them bugs. Like and subscribe, everyone.